This is a tutorial painting of a blue jay using mixed media. I actually started with a frame which I got for £3 sterling from a junk shop. Took the photo out and then I found an image of a blue jay online. I measured out some card to fit the frame and traced the outline of the frame's inner border onto the card so I knew the dimensions of the final picture and the size of the space in which I needed to work. I then drew freehand a basic outline of the bird using an HB pencil, which is a hard pencil because it wouldn't smudge across the card while I worked on it. If you're not confident enough to draw the bird by freehand directly onto the card, then you can always print off the photograph to the size you want using your office photocopier to enlarge or reduce it to the correct size, and then you can trace over it. And I'll use this example of a basic bird to show you how using tracing paper you can get a copy. So this is the basic outline of the bird you want to copy. Then you just need a piece of tracing paper. If you haven't got tracing paper, then just use this, which is a piece of kitchen baking paper. Most people have it in their kitchens, and it's quite cheap and easily accessible in supermarkets. Then place this over the image you want to copy, like here, and using a 4B, 5B or 6B pencil, because these are soft pencils, then trace the outline of the image you want to copy. It needs to be a soft pencil like a 4B to 6B pencil because you'll need to transfer the image onto the final piece of card. I've shown you the two separated images here so you get an idea of what it looks like. Now flip the image over and trace the outline of the image again on the reverse using the same soft pencil. This gives you a negative, which you then flip over again and then trace over that again, but this time tracing it over the piece of card you want to use as a final picture. And go over this tracing one more time and you'll get this. Essentially you can just about see what it looks like. You can just about see the basic bird outline underneath the tracing paper. So then take the tracing paper away, you're left with the image on the card, and just reinforce it by using a hard HB pencil again, so again it doesn't smudge. And this is where the fun bit starts. I started blocking in colour from the original image until the main areas are filled with acrylic paint. I find it's better to use smaller and harder bristle brushes for this stage. And then once this is dry, you can start using the other components of a mixed media picture. So first I started with coloured ink pens. It's easier and you get finer detail than using fine brush strokes with acrylic. As you can see from the brown lines on the legs and claws, these are all done with pen. I've done the same thing using black ink pens on the tail feathers to give better distinction between the wing feathers as the tail, as you can see here, and then I've got onto the next medium, which is colour pencil, and you can see the green and white detailing on the tips of the wing feathers, light brown on the smaller breast feathers, and some white pencil as highlights on the legs and claws. Next I've used blue pencil to imitate softer, smaller downy feathers on the bird's back. And also I've started using, in this close-up, pencil around the areas near the beak, as well as grey and brown coloured pens to create soft downy feathers around the bird's face and eye. I use the same colour brown on the claw as the claws on the body to outline the branch that the bird is then perched on. So you can see I've tried to show you this, the size of the final piece in the next image by comparing it to an English penny. I think this shows how using these multimedia pencils, colour pens, acrylics and colour pencils gives the image a nice three-dimensional appearance, and I'm quite pleased with the outcome. Here's another example of bird using multimedia drawing, using the same layering and pencil, then acrylics, then colour pen, and finally colour pencils to create images of an Asian pheasant. And then you can see what it's like in the frame, which is very similar to the first. I did manage to find a third frame, and so I went about creating my third piece, which I see on most days when I'm driving through the countryside, and that's an image of the English ringneck pheasant. So I hope you've enjoyed these tutorials. There'll be more to follow, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel